Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Brass Monkey X. So we're working on Project Lich King again, and today we're going to be permanently attaching a muzzle device. Now, you may be asking, why are we permanently attaching a muzzle device? Don't you just screw it on and you're done? But I live in one of these really awesome states, New Jersey, where if you don't permanently attach the muzzle device, apparently that somehow makes your firearm more lethal, I guess. And it's considered an assault rifle at that point, and you're not allowed to do that. So I'm going to have to permanently attach it. So if you happen to live in one of those ridiculous states like I do, hopefully this video will help you out, and I can show you guys how to go about permanently attaching your muzzle brake or flash suppressor or whatever they allow you to do in your state. But before we do anything, I got to show you a disclaimer here. Don't want to get in any trouble with YouTube. All right. Now, let's just go over what we're going to need. So you're going to need your upper receiver, obviously, with your barrel attached and everything. You're going to want to clamp that down in a vise to do this. If you don't have a bench block to put your receiver into or any other kind of tool to hold it, what you want to do is, in your vise, you want to put a rag or something just to protect the finish on your gun. You don't want to screw it all up when you clamp it down, because you got to clamp it down pretty tight. You're going to need your muzzle device. Mine, luckily, is pre-drilled, so it's already got that hole in it, which saves me a step. Typically, your muzzle device is going to come with a crush washer, like this here. I'm going to be using a roll pin as my pin. Now, you don't have to use a roll pin. You could use anything as long as you got a piece of metal that's going to fit down in there. All right, even if it's a little too long, you could always grind it down when you're done. But I like to use roll pins. You just drop the roll pin in and you're good to go. As an extra precaution, I like to use a little bit of red thread locker. That's the permanent stuff. That'll hold it on there for good. And then you're going to need some way to tighten it down. I have my armorer's wrench here. If you don't have an armorer's wrench, that's fine. You can just use an open-ended wrench or adjustable wrench, whatever you got. I can't remember what size this is. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to tell you which open-ended wrench to use. But just play around with it. If you got wrenches at home, I'm sure you'll find something that'll fit. But let's go ahead and get started here. I'll show you guys how we do this. So you go ahead and take your thread protector off of here. Okay. And the first step is to put on your crush washer, okay? If you're not familiar with a crush washer, it's basically a washer that's beveled on one end, okay? And what it does is when you put it on, when you compress it down, when you tighten everything up, what it does is there's force applied on both ends, which kind of locks whatever you're putting on in place, okay? So when you put it on, you want to make sure you put it on in the right direction. So this beveled end, you want the shorter end facing the barrel of the gun, and you want the wider end facing your muzzle device, okay? If you can see there, the way I have it oriented, you're just going to slide it on over the threads just like that. Now, this is where I come in with my thread locker. Yeah, you don't need a lot of it because, like I said, it's going to be permanently attached. We're going to end up welding this thing on anyway. So you just put a little bit of this on here. Just a little dab. You don't need a lot. And then we're going to take our muzzle device, okay, and we're just going to go ahead and thread that on hand tight for now. Just like that. Now, let me zoom in here. As you can see, our muzzle device is not facing the right direction. We want the top of our muzzle device to line up with the top of our barrel. Okay, that's called timing. We want to time the muzzle device so that the 12 o'clock position on the muzzle device is even with the 12 o'clock position on the barrel. Okay, now you want to do that obviously because you want the gases that escape to go in the right direction. Okay, if we leave it like this, the gas is going to escape in the wrong direction. It's not going to help you at all with any recoil. So you want to tighten it down, okay? So when you're doing this, when we tighten it down, guys, we want to turn it so that it gets exactly at the 12 o'clock position. If you go past that 12 o'clock position, when you're tightening this, you can't go backwards, okay? Because it compromises the crush washer. The crush washer is no longer doing its job if you go too far and then have to turn back, okay? So when we tighten this down, we want to make sure we don't over tighten. We want to come real slow until we get to the right position that we want, okay? So we just get our wrench on here. And we go ahead and we just start tightening this down. Now it can be a little tight, guys. Just go real slow, real smooth. You know what? I'm actually going to switch this out. I'm going to go get an adjustable wrench because I don't like the way that's fitting on there. So give me 1 second, guys. All right. So I got an adjustable wrench. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to tighten this down in my vise. Make sure it doesn't move on me. I don't want it slipping at all. So we get that tightened down nice and good. All right. We're going to get our wrench on here. Make sure the wrench is nice and tight. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and start cranking on this. Sorry about the angle there, guys. I'm trying not to block your view. Let me see if I can get a different angle on here. There we go. All right. Now, you can see we're getting close. We're not quite there yet, okay? We're almost there. We're almost at the top. We're at like 11 o'clock right now. So we're going to have to keep cranking just a little bit. All right, let me show you again. See what I'm talking about? We're almost there, but we're not quite. So, got to crank it down just a little more. I know, guys, it seems real simple. You just crank the damn thing down, but I just want to show you guys how important it is to make sure you get that in the right position without over cranking. Just a hair more. Go ahead and get our wrench off of there. And that looks pretty good, guys. Let me get you off of here, off the tripod. I'll show you. All right, so there we go. If we look at it straight on, you can see the 12 o'clock position on our muzzle brake is at the 12 o'clock position on our barrel. So everything is lined up perfect and we're good to go, okay? Now, let's put you back on the tripod. So now that our muzzle device is attached, this is where most people can call it quits if you live in a normal state. But like I said, unfortunately I live in New Jersey, so I have to permanently attach this now. And this is not considered permanently attached until I put a pin in that hole on the bottom and then I tack weld that hole closed, okay? So, let me get this out of the vise. All right. So right here, on the bottom of the muzzle brake, we already have our hole pre-drilled, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video here. I'll be back. I got to go set up my drill press. For you guys, it's only going to take a few seconds. For me, I have to actually pause this, go get set up, and then we'll be right back, and I'll show you guys what we're going to do from this point on. All right. All right, guys. So we're all set up in our drill press now. And so what we're doing here is, I know I said it was pre-drilled already, which that's the first step you're going to actually want to do if it's not pre-drilled. You got to put a hole through your muzzle brake at the 6 o'clock position, okay? Now, once it's attached like this, what we're doing here is you need a drill bit that is slightly smaller than the hole that's already there. Okay, you get it all lined up. As you can see, this one, the perfect size to fit right in there, okay? And now, what we're doing is we're going to turn this on, and down in here is the threads, okay? In order to be considered permanently attached, we have to slightly drill through the threads, okay? We're just kissing the threads and just dimpling them so that when we put our pin in, the pin has somewhere to go. And it's basically locking the muzzle device in so that if you ever tried to turn it and get it out of there, it's not going to come out because it's drilled into the threads. Now, you don't want to go too far and end up going all the way through and into your barrel. So like I said, we're going to bring this down. You can feel when it hits the threads. You're going to know when you're there. And once you hit that point, you're going to feel some resistance. You just want to drill down just a tiny fraction of a little bit, okay? You don't want to go too far at all. Just drill it down so that you dimple the threads and you're good to go. That's all you need to do. You don't have to go real deep. You're just dimpling the threads a little bit, marring it up so that it's permanently, you're disfiguring those threads so that they're not usable anymore, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to spray a little bit of WD-40 on there, okay, because it can get a little bit hot. You don't want to screw up your drill bit. Just put a little bit of WD on there and go ahead and start it up. Let's bring our drill bit down. Once you feel that resistance, you know you're on the threads, and then you just kiss the threads. That's it. That's literally all there is to it. You're just getting in there, dimpling the threads, and you're done. That's all you have to do, guys. Now, we're all done with this step. Okay, we'll go ahead and get this out of here. Wipe that off. There you go, nice and clean. We're good to go. Now, let me just bring you back over to the bench so we can talk for a second. Now, the next step is that hole right there. We're going to drop our pin in, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to weld that hole and cover it up. That way our pin is in there, it's permanently in, there's no way to get it back out, and it's considered permanently attached at that point, and we're good to go. So, again, I'm going to have to pause the video because I don't have a welder in my shop. My stepfather has one though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here. I'm going to run over to his house. When I get there, I'll turn the video back on. Again, for you guys, this is only going to take seconds. For me, I may not get back over there tonight. This may not be until this weekend when I go do it. But for you guys, it's only going to be a few seconds. So stay tuned. I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. So we're ready to go ahead and start welding. Word of advice, don't attempt this if you guys don't know what you're doing. If you've never welded before, I mean, and you want to learn how, this is not the place to learn how. Practice a little bit before you attempt this. This is actually going to be my first time welding without supervision. So we're going to see how this goes. But as you can see, guys, we're ready to go. Our pin is in place. And we just got to put a little spot weld on that hole right there. I'm not going to be showing you guys how to set up a welder. That's not what this video is about. So let's just get right to it, guys. I want to get this done and over with. So let me see. I'm going to try and... Oh, one more thing. Guys, make sure you're wearing protective gear. Make sure your eyes are covered. You want to be wearing a visor when you're doing this. Just make sure you're with somebody who knows what they're doing if you don't know what you're doing yet. But like I said, let me get this done and over with, guys. I'm going to attempt to... I don't have anywhere to prop my phone up, so I'm just going to kind of hold this in one hand and try and weld with the other hand. So give me a second here, guys, and I'll go ahead and show you what this is going to look like. See if I can do both at the same time here, film and go ahead and weld this. Alright guys, it's not the prettiest weld, but the job is done. Let me see if I can zoom in here and show you. It's actually really ugly. But what we're going to do is, we're going to pause the video here. I'm going to go back to my shop. I'm going to grind that down, clean it up, and then we'll come back and we'll resume from there. So I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, so we're back in my shop now, back in the garage. And let me show you what I did here. So, after I welded it, you guys saw how bad that weld was. Like I said, I'm not a welder. I'm not very good at it at all. That was my first time ever welding something unsupervised without someone there who knows what they're doing. So, you guys saw how bad that weld looked. And it's not difficult to clean up a weld, guys. All you need is a Dremel. Right? So, I got home, and the first thing I did was I hooked up this little grinding stone to the Dremel, and I ground down everything. Okay, so it doesn't look too smooth, but it's smooth to the touch. It's not that bad. You can see there that one spot where I screwed up at first. So little tip, guys, don't try to hold a cell phone while you're welding and film what you're doing. Either get a tripod or have somebody hold the phone for you, or you're going to make a mistake like I did and I slipped. But not a big deal, because I went back in, hit it again, got the right spot, filled it in. As you can see, the weld's not great. Like I said, I'm not a great welder, but you grind everything down with your little grinding stone there on your Dremel, and then you come in, you put some polishing compound on one of these here. They got like these cotton things, right? You put your polishing compound on there and you just polish it up, and then that's what the finished product looks like. So it's not too bad. I might go ahead and polish it a little bit more just to fix that up just a little bit. But that's it, guys. Alright, so I'm back on my actual gunsmithing bench here. Let me turn the light on for you. And we're all done, guys. Alright, our muzzle device is permanently attached. It's pinned, it's welded. It should satisfy the powers that be here in New Jersey. And we're good to go now. So, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If not, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not the greatest welder in the world. Honestly, if you guys are scared to attempt something like this yourself, personally, I don't care. I'll give it a shot. But if you're not into trying something like this, just go to a qualified gunsmith, guys. It's probably your best bet. But there you go, guys. That's it. That's all I got for you. Our next video is going to be our actual final assembly on this thing, I think. Or, no, you know what? It's not. So, our next video, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in our bolt carrier group, our charging handle. We're going to get everything lubed up. And then we're going to have one more video after that where I'm going to show you guys how to install our scope and our scope mount. So, just 2 more videos on how to assemble. And then we're going to do a benchtop banter, and I'm going to do a complete overview of the gun, guys. So, thanks for tuning in if you've stuck with it for this long, and I really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you next time.